Yes, I'm on top like your bitch. I'm gonna stay on top like this hit. I ain't Gucci man, but I roll with the six. Nigga run off at the lip, I'ma load up the clip. Fuck you talking about, put 5 in your whip. Nigga get bad, nigga put 5 in your chick. Talk bad, nigga, I'ma run up in your house. Talk bad, nigga, I'ma show you what I'm about. Nigga in the club, I'ma stomp a nigga out. If you talking all that shit, I'ma leave his brains out. Let his brains hang, I do my damn thing. Nigga, you already know that a nigga gang bang. Slang cane just to maintain, yeah, I'm on the block. Nigga talking shit, I'ma load up the Glock. Nigga talking shit, yeah, I just got stopped. Nigga talking shit, look at the Glock that I pop. Nigga, what's up? Like what? On what? They already know that. Okay. They ain't got a clue. Yes, I'm on top like your bitch. I'm gonna stay on top like this hit. I ain't Gucci man, but I roll with the six. You be fly as hell when I'm rolling with the chick. Fuck you gonna say to me? You little niggas wanna play with me and fuck around and need an ambulance. Nigga, we'll put it down. I run my whole town, nigga, get mad green. I got this motherfucker shaking like crack fiends. And you don't really wanna see a little rap team. Come out here, take this track, bitch, take that back. Talk shit, I'ma lay that Mac. Nigga wanna go, I'm in a catty cold when the nigga got roll. Say a nigga want more, and I'ma get it in. Nigga, I'll put the thing on a call, dog, and leave a little nigga off, dog, and I'm raw. Like what? Let's go.